Okay, synergists, we need to talk. You know that thing I said about if I'm wrong, I will tell you? Well, what if I'm way too right about things? As usual, I can't stand it. I try to debunk myself, and boy, my husband really got on me about this. He said, Brina, stop trying to debunk yourself all the time because you're already right. And I said, no, it can't be that bad. Well, y'all remember that paper where Dr. Lee Merritt had that conversation with Maria Z 2 years ago about, hey, it would be cheaper just to turn people into robots? And I'm always bringing you into my little folder, and I'm always complaining about this. So that's an IEEE diagram, but nobody bothered to look that up. Like, it just, we were so busy, or I'll say me, arguing with the crazies, and I'm like, come on, y'all, get on, look at this. This is what we're doing. Well, that's 8 years old. I found it, like where it is now. And as I already previously showed with the Mechanoid PDF, turning humans slowly but surely into robots, 8 years ago, that's where this is from. Oh, but don't worry, there's more. I just, with the gazillion tabs, and I'm trying to get to biofield practice because everybody's like, Brenna, if I have to look at another white paper, no kidding. No, I understand. I do. I get it. I understand. But we have a problem. Ooh, this is where that is. This is the white paper where that is from. And 8 years ago, I mean, come on, we know they've been doing conferences since 2010. But this is the I barely have words because hang on, self-evolving autonomous decision making. So we don't get our own neurons. Hang on. Oh my God. I mean, hang on. Remember that neural capital law thing I got real mad about, right? Okay. So the very first panel of discussion is health applications. Neurotechnologies have long been used in medical settings. The health-based applications of neurotechnology are expansive. Brain plasticity, we're assisting stroke survivors. Great. Consumer neurotechnologies, no longer confined to medical settings. Neurotechnologies are rapidly expanding into the consumer sphere. The advent of consumer neurotechnology combined with a growing interest in neural augmentation by industry actors highlights a changing landscape of innovation, blah, blah, blah. Influencing brain activity demand urgent action. What role do different stakeholders, from regulators to industry to consumers themselves, have in safeguarding this space and ensuring the responsible development of augmentative technologies? How can existing existing best practices and deficiencies in the consumer neurotechnology space inform a future mental augmentation? Now, just so we're clear, this is Neurotechnology Center at Columbia University. This was the Zoom call that sent Tater Tot over the edge. And that 2 days ago, right? Okay, part 3. Come on, iPad, don't die on me just yet. National security applications of neurotechnologies. The application of neurotechnology are not limited to healthcare settings or the consumer market. Governments and militaries around the world are investing. Significant resources into researching and developing neurotechnologies with the aim of understanding both the relevance and risks of neurotechnology to national security. The question of mental augmentation is particularly pertinent to military settings, with brain-computer interfaces offering the potential to, among other things, monitor soldiers' physical and mental states in real time, enhance alertness, and minimize the need for sleep. Oh, amazing. Increase awareness, because last I checked, if you don't sleep, you get kind of nuttier than a fruitcake. Increase awareness, performance in combat settings, link brains to weapons. We know that. We've seen the MDPI. It's a sensor journal. It's very real. They think a thought the drone could turn, fire, target. It's great. And all they have to do is visualize and access or interpret data. Now, the reason I'm reading you this, okay, this is where your neurons are not yours. And it keeps going. They had this discussion, the growing technical capacity and market availability of neurotechnologies, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, don't go to the X. You find the crazy radio frequency pricks and they're like, it's not possible. We live in the 90s forever. Oh, well, see, I made a mistake. I was looking for their SAS initiative, and I thought, it's all these sensors. And my caregiver came back in, he goes, babe, are you sure? And I said, well, hang on, let me look it up again. Symbiotic systems. So then I came in here and I'm like, well, surely, and that guy, I'm telling you right there, that's EA Sims. I'm sorry, whoever you are. I mean, that can't be real. It's got to be AI generated. No, definitely not. And still going. So 8 years old. Hang on, I'll get back to it in a second. And this whole thing about autonomous agents, I mean, even the Brightian is talking about it. They highlighted some businesses, like I showed you that guy recently on autonomous agents. We are the robots. We're even in this symbiotic augmented humans. This is robotics and automation. And that's exactly where this image is from symbiotic relation to emergence of new entities. In the past, we felt that we could fully control a robot as we would a cog in a factory. However, as robots become more and more autonomous, aware, excuse me, and able to self-evolve, they will become increasingly similar to human citizens. Oh, a new scientific branch called symbiotic system science. The symbiosis of artifacts with humans will move by little steps and has already begun. Prosthetic hands becoming more sophisticated, and part of their increased functionality stems from the autonomous nature of prosthetics. Spinal nodes, embedded Internet of Things devices are also becoming more common. Think of sensors to monitor chronic pathologies, smart drug dispensers like insulin pumps, and home-connected devices. IoT devices are getting more and more sophisticated. In short, while these IoT products will communicate with each other through body area networks, and in the longer term, they are likely to create distributed decision points with an emergent intelligence. Augmented humans, humans 2.0, and transhumanism. Although these three terms are sometimes used interchangeably, we take the view of a progression where the first step is leading to augmenting the physical abilities of a person. This is 8 years old. Imagine having a wavelength converter embedded in the eye that allow a person to see in the infrared or UV spectrum, then reaching a point where many persons are markedly different from natural people because of their extended capabilities. This could include specific improvements, like a permanent seamless connection to the web. While in augmented human, we are likely to see the evolution that starts, as it is already happening, to address some disabilities. We have a generalized adoption of the technology, probably due to a decrease in cost, for implementation. It has been said we are already at that stage because the generalized and systematic use we make of the smartphone to pair our brain-based memory. Transhumanism carried out to the extremes may signal a transition to a new species not driven by evolution but by technological development. Although transhumanism is rooted in the concept of leveraging science and technology, it is looking not at symbiosis between us and our artifacts, but to the possibility of changing at a fundamental level the characteristics, or some of them, of the human race. Artifact evolution. Internet of Things and Big Data entering SaaS domain. These aggregations can be studied with the science of complexity along with other technologies in the domain of AI. AI technologies can use data from the devices to extract emerging properties and direct the behavior of the Internet of Things in the cluster. 5G is likely to be an enabling technology in this domain, providing the communication fabric for the ever smarter Internet of Things and clusters of Internet of Things. Like I said, air molecules on crack. Yeah, here they come. Sensor technologies, actuator technologies, communication, cooperative support, augmented human technologies, self-evolving capabilities, autonomous decision-making. I mean, the fact that your grifter class wasted so much time lying about sensors, it's no wonder. Smart materials with sensing capabilities. The embedding of sensing capability in materials, the trend is towards using construction materials that have sensing capabilities. Because it wasn't enough for your fridge to spy on you, the walls can do it too. Construction materials that have sensing capabilities as an integral part of their material structure, like concrete that can sense pressure and detect stress, rubber that can become a sort of skin, detecting temperature and pressure variations, or material surfaces that detect the presence of light and its quality. This evolution is of particular interest in robotics, where smart materials can be used both as skin and as muscles, detecting external conditions, and as muscles, detecting strength and position of the robot's parts. Sensor networks. Another important evolution is the embedding of processing and communications capabilities in sensors. This enables some level of local signal processing and the creation of local sensor networks. They integrate the data acquired and generate meaningful information, like a bridge detecting a moving stress on the structure and interpreting as a heavy vehicle. Sensor networks are becoming a crucial part of autonomous systems. Sensor and Internet of Things evolution are correlated. The direct or indirect use of living cells and their manipulation to acquire specific characteristics has led to the creation of sensors leveraging living material like bacteria and algae. Measuring their density through fluorometers attuned to the algae chlorophyll, live cells have been integrated microfluidic devices to act as bioreporters with the aim of enabling autonomous environment monitoring. A slightly different solution applies to biosensors for interfacing with living beings. Here the evolution is also impressive, but there is no silver bullet in sight. The sensing of activities occurring in a living being is complicated by several factors. 8 years ago, noise. I talk about signal to noise all the time. The brain, there is a flow of electrical chemical activity related to a moving arm that occurs in parallel with hundreds of other electrical signals, like seeing, hearing, and breathing. The distribution of signals over a broad area, staying within the example of the moving arm, there are several parts or hundreds of thousands of neurons involved, makes it difficult to pick up the signals at point of origin. The further away the signal is picked up, the noisier it appears. Yep. The difficulty in keeping the sensing probe in place. Since the living matter is soft and keeps changing, the possible change in the way communications are generated and change in a living being. Given the present state of the art, it seems more likely that it will remain impossible to pinpoint the origin of single activities, and the evolution in this area is toward a global understanding of the semantics. Thus, the sensing will generate non-specific data, and these will have to be processed to derive specific information. Oh, well, they changed that up a little bit. We've already read about that with the signal processing component. That's what we were discussing with digital twins. And that's these people in part as well. In a way, the approach is to mimic the human way of understanding another human by observing the external behavior rather than by capturing what internally led to such behavior. This approach works when understanding can be derived from actions, but it does not work when there is a need to capture thoughts. Such is the case creating a symbiotic relation with a paralyzed person to think into action. In general, an approach of understanding through behavior observation is best for autonomous systems, since it is unlikely they can get a direct hook into another system. Communications and cooperative support technologies. And that's where this stuff comes in. Like I said, the smart dust landing on you. Again, this is 8 years old. We have upgraded. we've read other papers as well. So movement and its subsets, exercising pressure, shifting weight, and balance, have been accomplished through mechanical systems, MEMS, and then the smart materials changing result in a change in its structure, right? Sending electrical signals to the material that result in a change in its structure. Optogenetics. In biointerfaces, optogenetics has become the leading technology based on the introduction of specific gene-to-gene modification to make a cell responsive to a specific light wavelength, and by using optical fiber reaching the vicinity of the cell, it is possible to stimulate specific behavior at the cell level, usually neuron. CRISPR-Cas9 technology may further improve optogenetics, making it possible to tweak with the genes directly without having to use a virus as a vector. Ethical issues, my ass. Communications support technologies, broad spectrum of frequencies at the same time, and make autonomous decisions on which frequency to use. Internal and external communications, implicit versus explicit, need for interoperable standards. Action-driven versus goal-driven, sharing goals, cooperation through negotiations. Cooperation as emerging behavior. Augmented human technologies, section 3.1.5. Humans have benefited from several augmentation technologies over the centuries from tools. You know, I don't know, y'all, but I just, the invention of the wheel. Is that what, I should have looked this up sooner. I'm sorry. Bionics, prosthetics, yeah, we know, yet somehow we have so many disabled people. And from wearable to embedded, new sensory pathways, brain-computer interface. In the past 50 years, primarily in the last decade, researchers have found ways to read and directly stimulate the brain. This is a result of growing understanding of the workings of the brain. Significant evolution is expected in the next and following decades. Medical, military, and gaming. Evolution of brain-computer interface. No, neuromorphic computing. A lot of hope is placed on signal processing to be able to filter interesting activity from noise or from irrelevant ones. To do this, however, a huge amount of data is required, and in turn, this entails huge processing capability. Neuromorphic computing may be an interesting possibility to explore. That's that image I always show you with where you don't have a sixth sense anymore. Data collection is tricky. Invasive probes, although much more accurate, are not viable in mass market. Only people with specific needs, like some Forte-Latkin syndrome, would be eager to accept them. And electrodes on the skull are more viable, much less informative. Evolution is being driven by medical, military, and gaming. The quest for seamless BCI is likely to require new software approaches. Industrial interest is growing. Neurotechnologies, deep brain stimulation, transcranial magnetic stimulation. Cannot reach the hippocampus, is limited to the external part of the brain, thus deep brain stimulation, yeah. Chips for implants, MIT for neurobiological engineering, BCI versus neurotechnologies. I skipped right over nootropics because they're using that as an augmentation as well. Brain implants as nootropic drugs and dispensers. Genetics. Possibly the ultimate technology for augmentation could be genetic manipulation. We know Ashley, St. Bride, Claire, whatever, Elon's most recent baby mama. We augmented right in utero, we're good. I'm reading the tweet going, if this is real, how is it that I'm the only one that noticed that? Okay. The first steps have already been taken with experiments in China on human embryos, and discussion is ranging in many countries, no longer on the ban or permission, but on the boundaries. Germinal choice technology, another name for repro-genetic technology, the ones looking at human reproduction, already being considered as a way to avoid genetic disorders by tweaking the genes before fertilizing the egg. Leveraging big data and genomics, genetics as a cure, genetics for augmentation, bacterial genetic modification for human augmentation, self-evolving capabilities, learning from living organisms awareness process. Sensors are usually providing 2D images, and these images need to be converted into 3D models. Some sensors can provide information on depth. We just went over some of the newer lens stuff they're using. And of course, self-driving cars and vehicles. Oh, mood detection, of course. Processing and storage evolution, explicit, implicit knowledge. Hitting the market, convolutional neural networks. Embedded analytics, self-replication technologies, from viri to bacteria to complex organisms. Each form of life exists because it has found a way to replicate itself. I knew that would be coming up next. Swarm intelligence, self-replication technologies are creating new legal issues. Manipulation of the genome to obtain crops with specific characteristics is protected by law. The issue of what happens to the second generation of crop here, opinions diverge. Dynamic brain emulation, mind uploading, and substrate independent minds. When applied to complex macro-scale biological life forms, the term self-replication typically refers to somatic cloning. However, the longer-term penultimate cloning challenge is the replication not of the human body, but rather of the human mind. In the early stage, a primarily theoretical endeavor, often referred to in science, transhumanism, as dynamic brain emulation or mind uploading, neural scanning and data acquisition. Oh, some bitch. There's the dust. Neural dust, free-floating, independent, battery-free sensor modes. Moreover, transducer provides long-range communications, piezoelectric crystal, single custom transistor, pair of recording electrodes. Yeah. Injectable mesh electronics like your Stentrode with Synchron. An ultra-flexible open mesh implant injected into the brain via a syringe. Injectable mesh electronic processes have a neuromorphic structure, i.e. similar to neural tissue, and are the same size or smaller than neurons. Characteristics provide several unique advantages when compared to conventional probes. Minimal neural tissue immune response, resulting in no post-implementation inflammation or scarring. Neurotropic viruses with an affinity for neural tissue. We're only halfway. So I will leave this here with the channel and tell you again, I'm sorry. What? Symbiotic autonomous systems are complex systems. Yeah, that said, whole distributed, and it's a small world after all. Oh, I hate the golf ball. 5G is a complex system. Yeah, it sees everything as a system. 5G at the edges may also be engineered as a swarm-like infrastructure, right, for the massively distributed Internet of Things. Microbots embedded in a living being will need to make decisions in absence of a coordinator using a completely flat hierarchy, and the decision-making process will be an emergent property of the symbiosis. So, the following vertical fields are considered: augmented humans, smart cities, earthquake relief, Industry 4 and 5.0. Virtual touch, virtual privacy. That's like a use case. The interplay of autonomous systems generates an emerging behavior. I told you that smart city is going to have a relationship with you, whether you want it or not. No divorce allowed. Oh. Huh. Does it say cyber roaches are part of the rescue team? Of course it does. And of course, Greer was on the InfoWars today too. It has just been a day. Let me tell you. And here towards the end, well, ethical, legal, societal, we're going to do it anyways. We know. Sheesh. Can't be doing this kind of stuff without market share. And yeah. Oh, in healthcare. Yes. Robots in healthcare. We all need that. Brandy. The nurse. Does that say iRobot? That's, oh, no. See, these people don't watch movies. Whoa. Magnetics. And photonics. I have other videos, but I'm so pissed off that instead I decided to just play music. Section 8, further notes on the evolution of machines and humans. The evolution of machines. The Symbiotic Autonomous Systems Initiative white paper is an interesting, thought-provoking document that in its concluding remarks outlines the expected evolution of machines towards awareness over the next 3 decades. While the horizon has been set at 2050, current activity is significant and much will be accomplished by the next decade. Oh shit. That's 2027. Means we got 2 years left. Clearly it is difficult, perhaps unreasonable, to make predictions over such a time span. However, the SAS white paper is not based on pure speculation. It's not? You mean you're not just a fiction writer? Because all the crazy fuckers on the X constantly tell us that we're stupid. They constantly tell us that these white papers are all generated, made up, it's not real, it's not here, it doesn't exist. Well, I'll tell you, that denial river plus jamming my head in the sand, I should have... I know it's not pure speculation because of the tertiary communities with your electrical engineers. Rather, it is about evaluating today's technology, global research efforts, market demands, and social drivers that will make the evolution a reality. The IEEE is aware of most technological research efforts, global visibility that makes prediction in the area of symbiotic autonomous systems an exercise in rationality. To that end, let's take a look at that cute little screenshot that I shoved in your face so many times. In your face. I'm like, hey, these are jobs. You see, job, more jobs. Hello? Crickets. Clearly. Right. Okay. So, yeah. Clearly humans have evolved. Oh, have they now? Because the people, there's their convergence. Where's the Canadian? It's converged. It's section 8.3. And I love that the ethics always are at the end as a little remark of, well, you know, we're doing it. Autonomous systems are already a reality. They are here to stay, and they will grow in number and functionality over the coming decades, pervading all through walks of life, impacting the economy, society, and individual lives. Now, you see, this is where I kept reading to you from that Agenda 2030 thing where they're like, it's our GDP. I'm like, hey, I am not your chattel. Oh, but you are. And there's their 2050 goals. Amazing. We're going to tear down towers. Someone ought to string you up for stalling us out for 3 years, making us run in circles. Hello? Well, why would you do that? Holy shit, grifter fuckers. Really? This is serious, solid business. You never had any right. We all know that, but dude, one of the reasons that I kept coming back is because of our people on the channel that believed your stupid asses and bought your crap. You fucked us. Real bad. I should have looked this up earlier.
It's 200,000 years of slow biological evolution as Homo sapiens, as a species. And ahead of us is this explosive technological enhancement and the birth of a new species of superhuman. And so this video isn't about just surviving, it's about thriving in a world where humans and machines merge, where AI agents become our closest partners.
Yep, that's what we're reading.
Thursday, 3 p.m.
And just like that, you've been able to organize carpet cleaning while on your Sunday walk without lifting a finger. Now, this might sound like science fiction. A personal AI assistant that understands your needs and takes actions for you. Well, this exact thing is happening much faster than anyone expected. The core technology, from voice AI to automation tools, already exists. I've spent the last 2 years building and selling AI agents to businesses, and I've even built an entire SaaS platform for creating these kinds of AI agents. And from this experience with AI agents...
Shit. He said it. SaaS platform. Maybe it's system. You know, that whole service, system as a service. Oh, because they talk to that. I mean, it's another network that they talk to. That's my stuffed animal. Don't judge. Don't you judge me. He's cute. He's got a really cool hat. And you have no right to blame me anyways. You're the people that slowed us down and lied like you breathe and got caught up in my hair and threw fits like morons. None of us can figure out why. We're like, if you care about people, what are you talking about?
We're recording at just past 5:30 p.m. here in Barcelona, Spain. The show will be shutting down soon for the day, and we will be back tomorrow for the final day of Mobile World Congress. We're just going to have a conversation to share with you what the four of us have seen today. What we do is we come in the morning. We usually go together to an opening keynote address.
Because they're just so excited for non-human virtual employees entering the workforce in 2025.
Those are usually the big heavy hitters that come in for the show. And then we separate and we go our own separate directions. And there are multiple educational sessions taking place throughout the convention.
So reporting from MWC, because this is at the Brighteon, I don't like their platform. This episode covers the rapid rise of AI agents in business, government, and daily life. We discuss how virtual assistants are set to replace traditional web searches, reshape industries, and impact the workforce. Well, no wonder they were complaining about the dead internet, because they're using it with their autonomous, agents. Oh, believe me, when you're going to want those musical interludes I have, because I was so angry I could not read to people properly. I will just briefly tell you, because I'm not going to be putting links on them, I don't think, for now. I'm trying to finish the coloring book and as quickly as I can, because me being me and being thorough, I don't have words for how enraged I am at those of you who did this to myself and my efforts with non-vaxxer and repeatedly told me that I was too angry and I was just such a bitch and I needed to podcast and slow walk and all that. And I can't even throw the intelligence community in here the same way, but I can, because of people that died in December 2022 from our military who said no. So this is 2018. You'll see this in the musical interlude, and I highlighted it and stuff. But the whole reason that I ended up in here is because earlier today, Jones the clone, I know you have people watching our channel, mister. He started talking about the way that our platforms in space are your dues active, General Raymond. And when he did, somebody on the channel said, "Hey Sabrina, this came up when I was looking for something else." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm sure you mean the quantum protocol, quantum cryptography is 1992. What?" And then as I continue to break it on down, y'all, I'm like, "Wait, you mean 1984? Oh, good Lord." And it just keeps getting worse, the way that you've wrecked everything. And people are terrified. They're extremely dumbed down. They're stressed. When I say dumbed down, I mean biologically. I don't just mean, like they prefer to watch TV. You make it hurt when they try to think. I've seen that elsewhere. So That's why I work so hard with plasticity and neurogenesis in the way that I educate to help the people that watch or listen. I've recently seen that sometimes animals gather around when I'm teaching. I work for that. I do. Because I want you to be able to feel good when you're done and not feel like your brain hurts. And I know that for some people, either way, they're like, oh boy, Brina. No, I know, I understand. That's why I try to make jokes, lighten it up. I've tried everything, and your assholes have stood in my way. And I did my best to get around them, but, you know, it's tough. That green door of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance is real solid. And I thought I had done a good enough job. Nope. Cyrus Parsa, they're still talking about that. And that's a good thing, I think, because he told everybody a lot of stuff. And the rest of you, and of course, then the other day, about she who shall not be named on our channel, because it just makes everybody cranky. At least she had gave people a database. Whereas the rest of you, you just yelled in our face and told people to be afraid 24/7 for clicks. This cryptography with the quantum goes back to 1984. This is not at all. This is disgusting on every level. And the way that people know the BB-84 is going to be that dumbass Star Wars character, that thing. Because this is, in movies, they have to tell you. They don't tell you anything, and it's not pre-programming. It's them rubbing it in the face of people like myself, Cyrus Parsa, she who shall not be named. And, you know, because you try to tell people, you try to educate them, well, I don't get it, and how does it reference my life? Well, let me try to show you this way. See all those different symbols on Bob's bases? All your bases are belong to polarize us. The reason that you're so terrified of their Masonic garbage is because a lot of it has to do with these quantum interfaces through history. See the symbol right there? I see people get all freaked out over these electrical symbols, the white checkerboard floors. That's all in photonics, especially using sound to help it along. Yeah, and you freak the fuck out of people with fake hand signals and all sorts of stuff that is not real. I warned you about that, but did we want to listen? No. Because those stories about Masons, aliens, were so much more fun, I would guess. I mean, quantum key distributions in the way that this actually works, it's not hard with all the cyclotrons and synchrotrons. So I will be back with this to try to help my people, because I just, like I told you in the coffee, I don't want an audience. I don't want people here that aren't serious, because I'm so tired of being drugged backwards into the weeds. NIST is listed there, yeah. Quantum Cryptography for Elections in Geneva, Scientific American, 2007. And she who shall not be named, she talked about that. And this B92 protocol is from the same Nuremberg that you failed at, because there was no original Nuremberg trial. Well, yes, there was. We saw it. No, all you saw was people get witness relocation programmed. A photonic integrated circuit is a compact integrated device that combines multiple photonic components like lasers, modulators, and waveguides. And we just, you know, everybody wants to watch movies and wait for the aliens to show up, and I don't. Because you don't understand what that means. You didn't live through it. I did. And trust me when I tell you that what the Dark Journalist calls the apotheum effect, that's what Greer was trying to talk about. And I was, as much as Greer is in with everybody else, he literally silenced Jones multiple times, which was a little bit of a relief. And Jones seemed kind of irritated. This isn't funny. This really isn't. This is what Finding K-Factor and myself have been digging on, trying to figure out, for me, how to present it with routing protocols. But this is just, they're just using air and particulate and the magnets underground that I told the truth about, that non-vaxxer posted. And all you can do is lie and harass our channel. Although you're pretty quiet for, I don't know, a couple weeks. I hope it stays that way, because this is going to take a lot. And these protocols for the quantum, definitely 1984, 1992, etc. And then I took you into the Irregular Warfare Technical Support Directorate. And I didn't even go all the way. I went into surveillance, collection, operations, so that you could see where the signature reduction force is. I'm just really disappointed in our government for what they've done to me and others, because anybody who tries to speak up, they will wreck you. And after being disabled for all this time, I thought for sure that one of you, some of you, any of you would have heard what I was saying. No, definitely not. No. Thank you to the people on the X who sent these, or sent this by. I scrolled through it briefly. We'll be going through it much more detailed, because I'm tired of the grifting. And if you're going to have interoperability, you claim you're going to save people, but you won't even tell them they're tethered to the cloud. I'm not buying, and I don't think you're doing anything good anymore. I used to, but the only people that get that narrowband protection are the people that work for you. That does not include me. My family is livid pissed. And the reason they're pissed is because I talked about Russian photonic radar. I did all that 2.5 years ago. I went over everything. Well, you were screaming. No, I wasn't. Did the same thing I do now, just a variety of getting through my emotions to talk about this at all. Because it's so awful. And you've just been nothing but assholes. And your radio frequency people, they're just embarrassing. And that to me is really important on our channel, to make sure that you can't fluff people anymore. I'm so tired of you lying to them. You just use computer networking terms and bullshit people into submission. It's exactly what my parents worked on. Well, fucking A, of course it is. And my grandpa, blah, blah, blah. And the same jerk from the other day, he's like, we can't be underwater. I'm going to go get in a cave. And you go ahead and do that. Your bones will still be there. We have signal everywhere. It's not funny. And the fact that nobody wanted to talk about the sensor technology, the routing protocols that go with it, and yet it's all there. You just have to know what the search terms are. And then the screaming about the simple solution to a complex distributed systems of systems that's built on symbiotic autonomous sensing. And you just couldn't shut up or be helpful. You had to be obsessed about my hair to prevent people from knowing what you're doing to them, but you're going to save them with interoperability. This is a step above coming after your dumbass Q. I hope you realize that, mathematically. I really do. There won't be anything left of your grift when I'm done. Jesus, I promise you that, personally. Mark 5:36, amen.